And now I finally want to move on to 2028. I know you and I have just wrapped up talking about 2024, but now we're already looking to the future. We're looking 4 years ahead. And let's start with Democrats, because Democrats have told me, have said by and large, we need to do some soul searching here. We need to change our strategy as we look at the results of 2024 and move onward. After some reflection, who are some of the top names being floated around to lead the party to maybe herald this change?
Yeah, so you might recall last month we decided to ask an open-ended question of, you know, likely Democrat and Republican primary voters, who would they like to see as the nominee in 2028? And we got a lot of different responses. Most people aren't really sure. Granted, it is very early. We've got a good 4 years here, 3 years until any sort of votes are cast. Again, very early, but we did want to test some of the names that are floating out there, some of the names that we saw in those results. So I think I'll start with Mark Cuban. I think that's one of the most interesting ones. He was not among the most listed in last month's poll. So when Democrats are thinking of someone they would like to see as a nominee, he's not necessarily the first one who comes to mind. But we decided to test him anyway because he's very active on social media. He has a big presence, and frankly, he could fund a presidential run. So he is among the best known of the candidates, and he's also among some of the most liked. So 35% have a favorable view of him overall. 10% have never heard of him. And he leads in favorability with independents, 33%. And he even picks up 28% favorability among Republicans. I think that there's something to be said for that. As you said, there is a good bit of Democratic soul searching going on. And I think looking at those numbers, you want someone who has some cross appeal here. If we want to look next at how about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? So she is also one of the best known candidates here. Only 14% have never heard of her, but she only racks up 29% favorability. She's also the most polarizing. So 54% of Democrats have a favorable opinion of her, but 64% of Republicans have an unfavorable view. Independents are also overall unfavorable, 45%. I think that we mostly expected to see that. She is a bit of a polarizing character in Democratic politics, even among Democrats. So not a huge surprise there. We also tested Pete Buttigieg, 34% favorability, 15% have never heard of him. And Gavin Newsom, sort of similar, 29% favorable, 15% have never heard of. And then Josh Shapiro and Gretchen Whitmer. Folks were less aware of those two potential candidates, and opinion on them was relatively split.
What about Republicans? Because as we know, in 4 years, Donald Trump will have served 2 terms. His reign will be over, so someone else will be leading the Republican Party. Who do Americans want?
Well, right now, I think if Republicans had their choice, they'd probably say 4 more years of Trump. He has the highest favorability here, 51% versus 45% unfavorable, with independents split evenly. But looking a little bit further down, we see Vance. He's at 41% favorable, 41% unfavorable. I think there's perfectly respectable favorability there. He's well known, and those numbers are mostly split among party lines. Otherwise, we haven't really waded into that Republican side, apart from testing Elon Musk, who would be ineligible for the presidency. But right now, I think Vance is certainly in a good position if he decided to run in 2028.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for the wide-ranging poll. We certainly learned a lot today. Matt Taglia of Emerson College Polling, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to many conversations in the new year.
Thanks so much, Brittany.